So they're looking for high protein foods. Well, you can't get higher protein than eating. So someone forwarded me this high protein smoothie. Let's see how she made it.
Vegan 7 years ago, and this is my favorite healthy breakfast smoothie. Welcome back to Plant-Based Faith.
Okay, so that just looks good, right? She's just so good at making food look good.
This smoothie contains over
Okay, so strawberries, mango, that's a hit with me. I'll eat it just plain like that.
14 grams of protein with
Wow, hemp seed, flaxseed, chia seed. Oh, and then she puts plant protein vegan yogurt. Okay, that's a lot of good nutritious protein. I'm not a fan of yogurt, so I don't eat yogurt. I find it too expensive, high fat, or a lot of sugar. So that's my personal experience with yogurt. I don't really miss it. Even when I ate milk-based yogurt or if I eat non-milk-based yogurt, I think it's a highly caloric food and I don't miss it. So I don't add it or eat it or desire it. It's just too expensive. I've looked through many yogurts and I can't find one that is low in both saturated fat and added sugars. This one has 8 grams of added sugars. Many yogurts like to use ingredients high in saturated fat. This one has coconut and has 13 grams of saturated fat. This yogurt has 10 grams of saturated fat, 10 grams of added sugar, and on top of that, they added emulsifiers. Emulsifiers are known to emulsify the gut microbiome. That's not a good thing.
protein powder. I pack it with a variety of
Now, soy milk I do use.
nutrient and fiber-rich seeds and use soy milk as a base so it's more satiating.
I wonder what that white stuff is. So I love the fact that she incorporates seeds. Seeds are hard to incorporate, especially like flax seeds, and hemp seeds a little bit easier. It's not as hard, but flax seeds are pretty hard. They're rich in nutrients, both hemp, flax, chia. They're all really good nutrient-dense foods. Okay, let's dissect her smoothie. Number one are strawberries. It's one of my all-time favorite berries. Honestly, I enjoy eating them more than blackberries. They taste sweeter, they're juicier, they just have this unique taste. So I have fresh strawberries all year round because I got together with a local farmer and he drops off boxes and boxes of strawberries for me every week. I mean, I live in Southern California, so yeah, we have sunny weather all year round. There's a few reasons for why I love strawberries, besides it being very low in sugar and calories. Number one, I'm looking for that red polyphenol phytonutrient colors, right? Those are what's going to nourish my body, nourish my gut microbiome, and decrease inflammation, help to mitigate pathogenic bacteria, reduce my blood sugar spikes if I, happen to eat things without any fiber like processed foods. And it's just all around been shown to reduce esophageal inflammation. So I love just allowing and enjoying and thinking about that strawberry just going down my esophagus, coating that to protecting it from the acid that keeps going back up because I'm eating a lot. I eat a lot of fibrous foods, right? Luckily, I don't have heartburn, but so many people do. And for people who have heartburn, I recommend they make strawberry a daily, meal. You can even eat the powdered stuff they sell at Trader Joe's, the dehydrated powder. In fact, the studies showed that those dehydrated, I think it's called really not dehydrated, but freeze-dried strawberries are the ones that actually they did studies with in people to show that it helped to reverse abnormal changes in the esophagus. So I eat strawberries with everything. If I can add strawberries to stuff, I would always add strawberries to all my food. Number two is mango. It is not only my favorite fruit to eat, but it is literally the most popular fruit to eat around the world. There's so many antioxidants in mango. Let's start with the yellow color. That is rich in beta carotene. Beta carotene gets converted to vitamin A. Vitamin A is so important for your immune system to help you combat germs, to help protect your DNA from all this oxidative stress in our air, in our environment, and in our food. Mangoes have more antioxidant power than apples, which have more antioxidant power than bananas. But those strawberries outperform those mangoes in antioxidant power. That's why I'm saying all fruits are not created equal, but you get different nutrients from mango. Now, people eat lots of mango flavored desserts. Now, don't confuse mango flavored cakes and pies and custard with real whole mangoes. Real whole mangoes actually will improve your blood sugar control as opposed to eating mango flavored junk. And you can even eat the powdered freeze-dried form of mango to help improve blood sugar control. The mango has a phytonutrient called mangoférin that is thought to slow the absorption of sugar. And phytonutrients that slow our absorption of sugar improves our blood sugar control. Okay, so let's talk about the seeds. Seeds are one of the most nutrient-dense foods you can eat. They are high in protein, they are high in fiber, they are high in antioxidants, they are also high in poly and monounsaturated fats. So I try to incorporate more seeds in my daily routine. Now, you can overdo it. Like I know people who eat a ton of nuts and seeds and they're having problems with reducing their cholesterol because they're eating a ton of fat, right? Like if you overdo seeds, you can't eat buckets and buckets full of nuts and seeds and expect it not to elevate something because it's nutrient dense. So hemp seeds have more protein than actually the chia or the flaxseed. It's a good source of arginine, which is an amino acid that gets converted into nitric oxide in your body to help dilate your blood vessels. And nitric oxide is important to help us relax, help us improve our circulation, to prevent a lot of these diseases that narrow our blood flow, like atherosclerosis. And the end stage of atherosclerosis is basically gangrene, kidney failure, heart attacks, and strokes. But before you get there, you get little tiny warning signs like impotence, back pain, bad skin. You look old, you're aging quicker than you should. These are all signs that you have atherosclerosis. And to reverse that, you have to focus on eating things that help to dilate your blood vessels. And you would think that as physicians, vascular surgeons, they go in and they rotor open blood vessels. They only do that for big vessels. So arginine is one of those amino acids that your body can make. But are you making enough of it to reduce inflammation? Because a study of over 13,000 people who increase their arginine intake actually decrease a inflammatory marker called C-Reactive protein. High levels of C-Reactive protein is really non-specific. It's just telling you that your body is inflamed. So it increases the risk of having heart disease. Now, all these seeds have polyunsaturated fatty acids, linolenic acid. Hemp seeds are high in gamma-linolenic acid. And these polyunsaturated fatty acids are associated with lower inflammation. And a lot of these seeds, rich in polyunsaturated acid, are good for our heart health, our blood flow, and our brain health. And some people believe eating protein is the way to go. So they're looking for high protein foods. Well, you can't get higher protein than eating nuts and seeds. They are packed with protein. Some people have also asked me, how do you eat in a postmenopausal state? Well, I say the same way you eat premenopausal, or even if you never go through menopause, right? It's the same food, whether you're eating it young, as children, teenagers, young adults, menopause, premenopause, older age, all of it. It's the same food. If we stick to whole foods and eat a diversity of food, there's no one food that's going to make or break our health. But hemp seeds have shown to reduce the effects of prolactin and may help to balance some of the symptoms that people experience with menopause. And I didn't mention the fiber content. All these seeds, including hemp seeds, are loaded with soluble and insoluble fiber. And in fact, these are great, nutritious, quote unquote laxative. They're really not laxatives because they're actual foods. And, if I can eat a food to help me go potty, then why would I spend $30 on stuff that doesn't give me any nutritional benefit to help me go potty, right? Or even more. Sometimes these laxatives cost more money and they can actually deplete our body's nutrients. Now, I was actually introduced into this world of different seeds when I discovered chia seeds. Chia seeds is not one of those seeds I grew up with. I grew up with a lot of nuts and sesame seeds, but not chia. And I just found chia to be so fascinating because when you put it in water, it swells up. It has that mucoid coat and it looks honestly like tiny little tapioca pearls. But that coat is really what helps a lot of people have a BM. So this is where, my clove in the chia seeds represents the bile and the round tip is the cholesterol. And when the soluble fiber traps the cholesterol, not only does it prevent the body from reabsorbing it, but it helps you and your colon move it out of your body into the toilet. And that coat is also a great binder. So if you do want to make processed foods like baked items or, pancakes or, these processed carbohydrates, when you soak it in water, it actually helps to bind and glue things together so that you don't need something like eggs. I'm actually allergic to eggs, so that's why I don't eat eggs. I don't think it's more nutritious than the stuff I'm already eating. Now, if I didn't have any food, then I'd probably eat it because I don't have an anaphylactic allergy, but I have enough of an irritation after I eat eggs that I stay away from them. I don't disagree that eggs are nutritious. They are high in nutrients. I mean, it's growing a baby chick, right? Anything that grows something, tiny into a full-size animal is going to be very nutritious. That's true for seeds, right? So eggs are kind of like seeds, except seeds are plants and eggs are, some live animal. Seeds are high in antioxidants. It has to be because it has to protect itself from the stress of oxidation. Chia seeds are high in quercetin, like the stuff you find in onions. It's also high in chlorogenic acid, like the stuff you find in coffee. Coffee has polyphenols and chlorogenic acid, which are believed to have anti-inflammatory and antimicrobial properties. Now, these compounds can inhibit the growth of harmful bacteria and support the growth of beneficial bacteria. Now, the darker the roast, the less beneficial polyphenols the cup of coffee will have. So if you think coffee is beneficial, if you add some chia seeds, you just change that regular cup of coffee into more of a superfood. Now, the Seventh-day Adventist community, they eat a lot of nuts and seeds. That's really part of their staple. And they've done lots of studies to show it's very beneficial to eat these foods. If you think about eating like an ounce of a chia seed, it has close to 10 grams of fiber, just eating that ounce. They are dehydrated nutrients. That's why it's so nutrient rich. So when you eat a high protein and high fiber food, you convert whatever you're eating into a satiating meal. Now, the volume in a smoothie already will fill you up, but as soon as that water clears through your system, then you're going to be hungry again. But if you pack it with more fiber and more protein, then you will be satiated for longer. And the polyunsaturated fatty acids are excellent for your immune system as well as your heart health and your vascular system. So I'm always looking for opportunities to eat more alpha-linolenic acid. And flax seeds are especially important because they actually have been shown to help reduce cholesterol, especially low-density lipoproteins. Now, there is a lot of confusion about cholesterol and low-density lipoproteins and whether they're bad or good. Well, the bottom line is anything in excess, even something very, very good for you, is not going to be good. Okay, so, and where is the insult happening? Well, it's happening invisibly in your blood vessels. So people with high low-density lipoprotein levels actually have higher rates of atherosclerosis. And there's a debate about this particle size of LDL, whether it's small and dense or light and fluffy. Well, to me, LDL is one of those molecules that are just traveling by. Okay, it's like a bus. And as it drives by, it's littering. It's basically throwing out trash.
Put your garbage in a garbage can, people. I can't stress that enough. Don't just throw it out the window.
So the bus by itself may be okay, but the trash it throws out is a problem. And so if that bus drives by your city and all it's going to do is litter in your city, I don't think you want it around, right? And that's the same thing with LDL particles. Whether it's fluffy or dense, it's going to have trash. And the more saturated fat you eat, and the more saturated fat you make, the more trash that bus collects. And then when it travels in your bloodstream in areas that you want to keep perfect, basically like your arteries, it starts throwing out trash. And when it throws out trash, you have trash collectors called macrophages that are supposed to be guarding your blood vessels against germs and foreign invaders. Well, imagine you have a parade and there's this one vehicle that keeps throwing out trash and you have the security guarding the premises of the parade, right? And then all it does is it gets clobbered by trash. And the security can't do its job. It's distracted with all this trash. And what it throws out is saturated fat. So as it picks up saturated fat from your intestines, your meals, it travels in your bloodstream and then it just, it has too much trash. So it's throwing it out of its LDL bus. So then the policemen, the security or the macrophages, they pick it up. And the problem is they're picking up all this trash, kind of like a mom picks up trash after their kids.
Yes, but the memories will last a lifetime.
but there's no trash box. There's no litter bin to put it. There's no garbage can to put it in. And all we could do is hold it in our hands until we find a trash bin. But the trash bin doesn't exist in your body. There's no trash bin. Once you get lined with saturated fat, it just accumulates. And in essence, it's basically litter, like after the Olympics or some major event, and the city hasn't figured out how to clean up the litter. So you have one major event, you litter. You have another major event, you litter. So it becomes, small piles of trash becomes giant mounds. And you can tell this because on biopsy, you can see that the macrophages are struggling. They're not normal looking. They are full of trash. They're full of fats. They become foamy macrophages. I mean, it's like they're rabid macrophages. And once you become a foamy rabid macrophage, you start sending out more distress signals, wanting more help to clear your trash. But the problem is, there's no emergency. It's just trash. Like nobody's going to die from trash. However, the cavalry comes in and they try to clean up the trash, but instead of cleaning up the trash, they make more of a mess. So now you have this endless cycle of inflammation. Then that brings in more like trash, basically calcium, where then, they're trying to solidify the trash so it doesn't just float away. So now you have calcified plaques, right? And so initially it's just plaques. Plaques are just piles of trash, piles of fat trash. And now you have calcified plaques, which means that the plaques or the fat has been there for quite some time and your body is trying to figure out how to not make it flow away, right? When the wind blows, the trash will just blow down with the water, with the bloodstream, and that will block something else up. So then you have calcified arteries, and that's how your arteries start to shrink. And if a major artery to your heart or your brain or your kidneys shrink enough, then you have no blood flow. That is the lifespan of atherosclerosis, and it takes decades to happen, right? So if you've been eating junk food since you were a toddler, well, your decade would be probably, you'll start getting sick around the third decade of life or so. If you didn't eat junk food until after you left home, then, you'll get sick around your 50s or so, right? And it depends on how long and how much of the junk we've been exposed to. That determines how much of a capacity our body has to handle all this LDL trash. That's a long-winded story of why we all need to work on reducing these parameters so that we ultimately don't become a patient needing an infectious disease doctor. So I help people at the end of their journey when the trash is already accumulated and it's nearly irreversible unless they want to make the dietary changes, right? But it's hard to do that when you're not feeling so well.
Soy milk is a base, so it's more satiating. The result is a delicious smoothie.
So back to the smoothie. This seems like a very delicious smoothie. I think she maybe put some peanut butter on top of that. So you have a high protein, high fiber, delicious tasting smoothie. For me, I'd probably skip the yogurt, but the rest of it, I would actually eat that. The only thing that I would add are beans and greens. And if you've never had beans in your smoothie, that's something that's worth trying. It's honestly super delicious to eat. And Asians, we eat a lot of sweet beans as opposed to savory beans. And I'm a big fan of red azuki beans. And if you want to know why, check out the next video.